Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we are going to be talking about a report from Ian Rappaport that has said the Bucs have requested to interview Rams quarterbacks coach Zach Robinson for their offensive coordinator position. I talked about this in my What Are the Bucs Options at Offensive Coordinator video. This guy is one of my top options in Zach Robinson, and I wanted to kind of give an overview of what he has done so far in his coaching career and see if he could be a good option. So, Zach Robinson, 37 years old, former player, by the way. He had went to college at Oklahoma State, a 7th round pick in 2010, was with Tom Brady, was with the Seattle Seahawks, the Detroit Lions, and the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a Super Bowl champion, by the way, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Whenever Super Bowl 56, he was with the Rams whenever they won that Super Bowl. As a coach, he was the assistant quarterbacks coach in 2019, the assistant wide receivers coach in 2020. He went back to being an assistant quarterbacks coach in 2021. Then in 2022, he was the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So he does have a little bit of experience there in some type of offensive coordination in some way, shape, or form. He has experience working with wide receivers. He has experience working with quarterbacks as well. That's valuable, in my opinion. And I wanted to take a look at how the passing attack did for the Rams this year. They were 14th in attempts, 10th in yards, 15th in touchdowns. Not bad in my opinion. Also 11th in rushing yards, 8th in rushing touchdowns this year, 12th in rushing attempts for that Rams offense. In terms of points for, they were 8th this year, averaging 23.8 points per game. One of the biggest reasons I like Zach Robinson, two reasons actually. Number one, he is a part of the I call him the West Coast guys, the West Coast boys, right? Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDaniel. These are guys, that are Zach Taylor, I think, was in that mix somewhere. All these young West Coast guys, right, have been getting so much love around the league. And Zach Robinson is one of those guys. 37 years old, has worked with McVay since 2019. He's a guy that I would be interested in just because he's a part of that system that works. It just works. I mean, it's worked for the Dolphins. It's worked for the Rams, obviously, with McVay. It's worked with the 49ers. Clint Kubiak's another guy that's in there. We'll probably talk about him maybe somewhere down the line. But, Zach Robinson's one of those guys, man. And I'm going to, it's a similar style to what Dave Canales called. And I think I just like a West Coast style of offense, especially in today's modern NFL. I feel like it's just a good offense to have. Zach Robinson would probably fit into that if he is anything like his head coach, Sean McVay. Also, Sean McVay, has a great coaching tree, in my opinion. I would love to see that. But is also what is so important to me as well is this. Also, like Matt LaFleur is in there. I don't know. I could talk about a coaching tree for a while. But to mention this, Zach Robinson's worked with Baker Mayfield before. Baker Mayfield was with the LA Rams last year. That was whenever Zach Robinson was the pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Robinson has at least a month's worth of experience working with Baker Mayfield due to their time together with the LA Rams. You go back, I'm going to go ahead and look up Baker Mayfield's stats now. Baker Mayfield played in 4 games, played in 5 games, started 4 for the Rams last year, and saw some level of success. Even Baker said whenever he came to Tampa Bay that the only other coaching staff and organization that let him be him and play to his strengths was the LA Rams and Sean McVay's guys. And Zach Robinson was a big part of that. So I think if your plan is to find a guy who can work with Baker Mayfield and may have some level of experience working with Baker Mayfield, Zach Robinson's got to be at the top of your list. Absolutely at the top of your list. I think that personally for me, he would probably be my number one hire, my number one option, just because of the experience that he already has, a smidge with Baker Mayfield. He's from that West Coast style with Sean McVay and just that overall coaching tree that has just produced so many great offensive minds throughout the past handful of years. And I think the guys just do for a spot, right? I really do. I think that a guy like Zach Robinson could have success in year one, very similar, if not greater, to what we saw from Dave Canales. I really do believe that. I have that much faith in a guy like Zach Robinson. I would feel very good about the offense moving forward with a guy like him at the helm. He's got experience working with quarterbacks. He's got experience working with wide receivers and being a passing game coordinator in some way, shape, or form. Would he be a first-year play caller? Yes. Is that the end of the world? Obviously not, because we saw it work for Dave Canales. I think that if you give Zach Robinson a chance, you really could see some great stuff. And he's only 37 years old, really good in terms of being a young guy who can go out, get after it, and do some really, really good things. So, folks, that's kind of it on Zach Robinson. My top option personally, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. Again, I also like that he's a former player. I think that that's been something that's been so interesting. The three guys that we've talked about have been former players, right? You have had Kellen Moore, you've had Brian Johnson, and you have had now Zach Robinson, all former quarterbacks, by the way, which I think is certainly notable as well. It's something that's very interesting to me. A lot of former quarterbacks. Everybody that they've interviewed now has been a former quarterback. It seems like the Bucs want to bring in a guy who can focus on quarterbacks and has that type of experience, very similar to what Dave Canales had. Is that because they want to see continuity with Baker Mayfield? My answer to that would probably be yes. Is it also because they maybe want to draft somebody and have somebody there to develop them? I don't know. You guys tell me. But I would love this for Baker. I would love this for the Bucs, and I would love to get your guys' thoughts and opinions about this as well. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. We're going to have one more coming out. I believe one more interview coming out in terms of a guy that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are planning to interview. Should be a lot of fun. And again, would love to get your guys' thoughts and opinions about all of this. But again, guys, hey, thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, folks, I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.